I want to first apologize for how messy this might be, but I'm just gonna dump words out and hope it makes sense. TLDR, husband has cheated and now I'm thinking about doing it to get revenge but don't know how I'll feel after it. Background: I met my husband in May of 2022. At the time he was off and on with this girl, but they ended things. We dated for 3 months and then got married. Everything was fantastic for the longest time. Like we didn't have our first real argument till a year later. I got pregnant in February and unfortunately had a miscarriage in March. March rolls around and I woke up to a notification on his phone from this girl. Well, called Dee was his brother's girlfriend's best friend. I had never even thought about going through his phone once before this, but I ended up doing it that night. Didn't really find anything. Just that D was in the number 1 on Snap and I had moved to second. A few weeks later I get this message that basically says your husband and I fucked in his truck on this date. And this date after he was done doing whatever and you were at work. I confronted him about it and he called his brother and told him, and his brother was like, she's crazy, she just tried to break me and my girl up. I brush it off. BC, it legitimately seemed like this girl was just crazy. A couple months later, after a fight we had, I went through his phone again and found a bunch of messages this girl where he proclaimed his feelings for her and said he would drop everything in a heartbeat just to be her. Confront him about that and he starts sobbing and being dramatic, saying he never meant it and yada yada. And in that same night his brother's girlfriend pulled me into the bathroom and basically told me that he did actually cheat and was there both times it happened. I caught him up a few other times texting girls on some sneak shit, and he even went as far as trying to hide inviting a girl over to our house at 3 a.m. even though his other male friend was there. I've gotten to the point where I'm just not surprised anymore, but I told him if it happens again I'm gone. I also just kind of have this whole FCK attitude now. So anyways, a couple months ago I started a new job and the first day of training this guy, we'll call Jay, trained me. Didn't really see him around till 2 weeks ago when he picked up a night shift. I quite flipped, but all of a sudden we were flirty a little and we were sitting outside taking a break when my husband called and started an argument. That led to me telling Jay just random shit and how I was fed up and whatnot. That night we snapped a few times and then saw each other at work the next day, and the only thought that came to my head was that if I wasn't with my husband I would be with him immediately. So we start texting and flirting a lot more. I had saved his number under a different name and everything, and then we started talking about sleeping each other. He also has a girl, so trying to find a time and place hasn't worked out yet, but I am really considering doing it. I've never cheated and never would have thought about it, but I feel like it's my husband's fault. I'm even thinking about this and the thought doesn't even make me feel guilty. If I go through with it, will I feel guilty?